Buying shares is better than buying land. Oh my goodness, I know what I'm getting myself into. Some people are very smart when it comes to the investment. Yesterday I met a gentleman, a very young guy at around 38 years old. And let me tell you one secret. This guy explained to me why buying shares is far much better than buying land. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I know by the virtue of me saying that, I have already disturbed the way you know things. Oh my goodness, shares are risky. Oh my goodness. What are you saying? Let us have an open discussion on the comment section. Let us find out how the numbers are saying on this particular board. Take yourself a calculator and let us go step by step and see what is the best option here as far as the investments are concerned. Guess what I do? This is Good Joseph, in case you're watching me for the first time. And I'm a guy with a camera and a good fair share of money knowledge, and I love to discuss the numbers and see where can we put our money, what the best thing can we do, where are we getting the best value out there. Now, this gentleman last year, making this video on the year 2025 around August there. This gentleman at the beginning of the last year, that is 2024, around ish there, January ish there, this guy had around 750K and he wanted to buy land. Probably you have that amount of money or even more or less. And the guy, the offer he was getting was to buy a land. And of course, with the 750,000, that's approximately $6,000 or something like that around there. The offer that he was getting, the land was quite far from the city. It was not even enough worth to build yourself a home and something like that. So the guy was like, how about if I buy shares with this money that I have, or the stocks with this money that I have, and speculate? First of all, I have to admit, this guy is a risk taker. Okay, he's not a risk averting, he's a risk taker. So he decided to buy shares. And this is exact. Do you know, we had a meeting and I shared all the numbers are in this diary and I'm going to share with you step by step. And the gentleman told me one thing. Instead of me taking 750 and go buy a land, say 100 kilometers from where I work, a land probably I'll never build a home in the next, a land where it grows at a rate of probably 2% or 3% per year, I decided to buy shares. So the guy went ahead and bought Stanbic Bank shares. This is one of the best banks in Kenya. In terms of their shares, they're the best. Now, anyway, but I'm not a stockbroker, so I cannot advise you to buy that. So I'm just telling you what he told me and I verified. Now, he bought shares. Back then, the shares, he bought at one share at around 96 shillings. That's what he bought. Now he has 750K to spare. So simple mathematics, you take 750K, divide by that 96. So he approximately bought around 730 shares. So, he bought around 7,730 shares of the Stanbic Bank. That's what he bought. Now, he has converted all the chunk of cash to buying shares. So now he has 7,730 shares of that particular bank. Now, with this regard, of course, he shares one in two ways. There is what we call the capital gain, meaning the shares are increasing in price. And two, we have what we call share dividends. That is, after the end of the year, the company shares with you what? Dividends. Now, first of all, let us deal with dividends. This company, Stanbic Bank, there's something called EPS, that is earning per share. How much they pay for one share that you own in that particular company. So this company pays approximately 34 shillings as of now, as I'm making this video, as of August of, let me check the date, August of 9th. This is what they are paying as their EPS. They pay approximately 30, 32, 31, 33, 34, 29, around there. This is what they are paying. Now, this guy, do you know what he stands to gain? He has 7,730 and he's earning this. So it's simply this amount of money, that is how much they will pay per single share, multiplied by 7,730. That is the guy what he earns or he stands to gain. Definitely, I know this money will be subjected to the tax deductions and what have you. But this cash is approximately, what was that number? 268,298. 268,298. 268,298. Then this money you can deduct 5% because here in Kenya we pay tax of 5% on the dividends that you get. Probably this number will leave you to, I did not calculate about that anyway, but this will leave you to around 240, let's call it at around 245,000 or something like that. So if you take this money, is what the money you will earn at the end of the financial year of that company. Divide this by 12, this will probably give you around 22,000, around there. 22,000 each and every month. Now, the question is, or around 20,000 there each and every month. Now, the guy decided to buy a parcel of land, or rather is buy the shares instead of the parcel of land. If he went ahead and bought this parcel of land, say 50 kilometers of where I live, he doesn't have these 22,000 each and every month. But now, out of the 750K, the guy is making around 22,000 each and every month. That's a quite a good winning, is it? By the way, for those who have built rentals, how much do you need to invest in real estate for you to earn this salary each and every month? You need approximately 2 million, or not even 2 million actually. You need more than 2 million. You need slightly above 2 million for you to earn 22,000. Even if you are to invest this money in a money market fund, you need around 2.2 million or 2.3 or 2.4 right now, based on the interest that you are getting for you to earn this. But we are talking about 700K giving birth to this case. Now, that is one case scenario. This is only on the dividends. Now, let's check where this guy, if he sells these shares right now. That is actually why we were having a meeting. He was contemplating about selling these shares right now. He bought the shares back then in 2024 at 96 shillings. Right now, as we speak, again, don't forget to confirm. I'm making this video at around 9th of August. One share of Stanbic Bank is around 184 shillings. One share, okay, as we speak. Now, if the one share is costing this, if this guy decides to sell his 7,730 shares at this price, how much that money is? That gives you approximately 1,400,000. How much was it? I still have those figures in my head. 1,422,320. 422,320. If he decides to sell his shares, and we are talking about approximately that is 1 year. That is 1 year. How many months? Because it was around, we are on August. That is 1 year, 8 months. In a period of 1 year, 8 months, the money he had invested has literally doubled. If this guy decided in any way, invested this money in a shares called KPLC, where one share was going for 1 shilling, now we are talking about 11 shilling. It should have been times 11. So it is this figure times 11. We are talking almost or over 8 million. Over 8 million in a period of 1 year. Can you imagine that amount of money? That should have been crazy amount of money. Tell me which land can appreciate at that rate. Of course, I know shares are risky. Definitely, they are riskier compared to the buying land. I know you'll tell me, there are these people who are risk-averted individuals, and I respect them because we are all different. Not everyone will have the guts of taking 750K and go buy shares. People prefer buying something that they can see, something like a land, because they can be like, hey, what if I buy and then the companies goes by? Now, we are speaking about people who knows the importance of taking the risk, because you can't win if you don't take the risk. And by the way, in Kenya, banks are doing amazing. Let me repeat, banks are doing amazing. They are performing good. They are minting billions of cash. Like, for example, Stanbic banks, they are known to be very stable. KCB, Cooperative, Equity, Family, DTB, all those banks are doing great. They are very stable. So buying these banks' shares, it is a very predictable income. It's a very predictable pattern. Though not 100%, but it's a very predictable way of investing your money. So you can get your cash there and you stay put. Now, this guy, if today, you see, this guy has been eating 22,000 each and every month since he invested. Up to date. Come on. That's a very good cash, isn't it? So if you were to add whatever he has been earning, around 245,000, and of course this month, already 8 months have gone, you can just imagine if he adds the year. We are speaking the language of around 1.7 million. The dude has gotten over a million in a month, or not in a month, sorry, in a period of like 1 year and some few months on top of that. 8 to be specific. Now, in that case, let's say this guy decided to invest in some other average. For example, if he invested in Bamburi, let's say if he invested in Umeme, let's say this guy invested in housing finance. All these are companies that did great and are still doing great. Let's say this guy invested in Kengen, KPLC. Let's say this guy invested in something like Absa, Cooperative Bank. Let's say this guy invested in some shares in some. You get what I'm talking about, all right? So what happens? The guy was telling me, I think, Joseph, buying shares is better than buying land. And for sure, based on the numbers, that's the reality. But I have to give you a very big disclaimer here. Based on the performance of the Nairobi Securities Exchange as of now, buying shares are way profitable than buying land based on the returns that are coming. And I told you one thing, buying land is not an investment. It is actually buying an asset that does not generate any income. And when it comes to liquidating land, it's like a hell on earth. Selling shares, if you compare that with that buying land, it is, especially when you offer your shares at a competitive price. Let's say, for example, you decide to sell your shares at 180 shillings. Most people will pounce on those shares because you're selling them at a competitive price. And he decides to sell at 180 and he bought it at 90. He's still on money. We say you're still in business. So sometimes when it comes to buying shares, may be way profitable compared to you buying land. But am I saying that everyone now should cease buying land and start investing in stock? Hell no, I can't say that. Why? Because we are not all on the same mission when it comes to investments. Because not everyone may have the appetite and the risk and the time to invest on stocks. For God's sake, you can't tell somebody who are their 60s and they only have this money, in Swahili we say mbele na nyuma, meaning the only cash that they have. See, you have to understand the nature of your client. And that's why I always tell you, if you'd like to invest, this is my number. You can pick it up and shoot me a call. Because I have to understand the nature. Where are you financially? Where are you going? What are you doing? How are you faring up? Are you able to take a risk? I do what we call the risk assessment, so that I can tell what is your affordable loss. How can you go? Where have you invested? What do you have in existence? Like, I'm not saying that now everyone who is planning to buy a land should seize that and go buy shares. No, what I'm telling you, before you even buy that land, think there are some other areas that you are likely to fetch bigger returns, especially if you are young. By the way, if you are young, I tell people, take risks. There's no any other way you can win in this world without you taking risk. Okay, fine. You don't believe in Kenyan stocks? Then buy international stocks. You can buy S&P 500. They have been showing some result of growing with over 15% per year for the last, 50 years. They even have higher returns compared to the Kenyan ones. And you earn in dollars. You can imagine that. So before you just fixate yourself to one investment, it has to be a learning. By the way, I tell people, if you're a young individual, you have yourself 400,000 and you have time ahead of you. Instead of getting that land, in 300 kilometers from where you live, a land where, it takes 100 years before it becomes authentic. Not really authentic per se, but becomes, before it grows or before it develops. Get those shares and buy very stable companies. Don't just buy any company, just buy very stable companies. And then check out how exactly that will be. These are the things that I always tell you guys. Please, let us keep learning each and every day. That's why I try the best as I can to make this video each and every time, so that you can be able to pick some points here and there, pick some points and learn to relearn, so that you can educate yourself. This knowledge was not there when we grew up. And by the way, thank God that I went through hell when I was trying to find out how to invest. And all the things that I went through, I gathered the information. That's why I'm here sharing with you. The only thing I'm asking from you is to just like the video for free. Just like the video. Make sure that you leave a comment. Tell me, let's discuss. You have the right to, object this, suggest something different. Tell me, what experience do you have? Have you ever bought shares? Have you invested there? How are you faring up? Would you advise somebody to buy? Where did you buy and you messed up? Or what property did you buy and you wish you did something? Let's discuss. This is a platform where we talk about money. Let's have an engagement. Let's build a community whereby we can be able to listen to our brothers and sisters and see how we can grow ourselves and take ourselves to the next level. So those are my numbers. That is my submission. And remember one thing, this is my disclaimer. This is not a financial advice that everyone should buy shares at all the time. Make sure that you do your own research. This is my own research. Contact your financial advisors. Take appropriate analysis to know what you need, because investing in shares is a risky affair. Don't just go there blindly. Let you be held by professionals who can take you through on where you can be able to invest. This is good, Joseph, but the point is, let us keep on learning the new things. Now, the question is buying land, or rather is buying shares, more profitable than buying land? You have the numbers. Make the decision. See you in the next one.